Hello, lovelies. This is 5 Minute Manifesting, and I'm your host, Lovey Brown. Thank you so much for listening. I'm thrilled that you're here. And today is day 6 of our Manifest a Romantic Relationship Masterclass. And so today, I want to talk to you about how there is no one to change but self. So there's lots of information about manifesting out there. And I believe, this is my belief, I believe all of it works. I believe if somebody is telling you that they had an experience where this manifesting XYZ technique or whatever worked for them, that it did work for them. What your job is, your job as a manifester, your job as the operant power, is to find what will resonate and work for you. And so it's really individual to each little individual spark of God, each little individual person on this planet. And that's, I think, what can make it seem difficult, but it's not. You have to tune in to who you are being and then change that person, that beingness, to the way that the person would be if they had what you wanted, what you want. If they had the romantic relationship in this case that you want. So there's a story of an actress. Her name was June Allison, and she saw an actor on television. She wasn't an actress then. She was like a teenager. She was at home. She was watching a movie, and she saw an actor, Dick Powell, who was married to someone else at the time, but she saw him, and she wanted to be his wife. And this is not a story about manifesting. This is just a story I read one time a long time ago, and it really stuck with me. She saw him and she said to herself, I want to be his wife. And she made this determination to do whatever she had to do to be Dick Powell's wife. And I'm not talking so we often talk about how action isn't required, but it sometimes is required. And sometimes the action is really the internal action that you need to take to become the person that you want. So what June Allison decides to do, right, this is not about manifesting. This is just what she decided to do. She moved to California, became an actress so that she could put herself in the best circumstance to meet Dick Powell. Eventually she did meet Dick Powell and they did get married. Their relationship was tumultuous. I think Dick Powell had several other wives, and I think June Allison went on to marry someone else. I haven't read that story in a long time, and I haven't researched it in a long time, but the story itself stuck with me. The lesson of June Allison, though, is there is no one to change but self. That's a Neville Goddard quote. And she became the person that she best understood she needed to be to get what she wanted, in this case, to marry Dick Powell. And so, to have a romantic relationship in your life, who do you need to become? Now, this could be really subtle. It could be that you're already pretty great. In fact, I know you're already pretty great. It could just be a matter of changing your belief, changing your thought of, I'm not worthy of a relationship to I am worthy of a relationship. It could be that simple. It could be that subtle. And so what I want you to do today is really think about, who are you being? Who are you in terms of your identity around romantic relationships? Do you have an identity that is, I never get the girl, or I never get the guy? The guy that I like, the man that I like, never likes me back. Do you have a belief like that? And if you do, you could be the most delightful person in the whole world and have lots of attention. But if you believe that the person that you like never likes you back, then it's going to be hard for you to identify when you're in a circumstance that could possibly be a romantic relationship for you. And so I really want you to think about how you are being in the world. And I don't mean that you have to overturn every single aspect of your personality and search for things that are wrong. That is not what I mean at all. There is nothing wrong. We're not looking for things that are wrong with you. We're looking for subtle ways that you're thinking from an identity that is not getting you what you want in this life. And it could be a number of things, and that's why, sort of generalized information like this can be hard. A generalized class like this isn't tailored to each individual person because I don't know your individual story. But I know enough generalities about what people believe about themselves and why they're not getting what they want to understand there's likely just some subtle shift in your thinking that you can make about who you are, your identity as a person in terms of how you relate to romantic relationships. Maybe when you were a teenager, your boyfriend or girlfriend cheated on you, and ever since then you've had trouble with romantic relationships. And you've told yourself a story about who you are, about someone who's cheated on, or someone who, isn't good enough for a relationship. But the bottom line of all of those stories is some version of not loved, not good enough. And I'm here to tell you that that is not true. That I do know. You are good enough, and you are loved because you are love. And so what I want you to do, this isn't like a long drawn out process. You don't have to think on this for days and days. I mean, probably some things are coming to mind right now as I'm talking to you about what this could be. And it's a subtle shift. And I want you to really identify with, I'm a person who has strong romantic relationships. Even if you've never experienced that. Just because you've never experienced that in the 3D doesn't mean that's not true of who you are as a person. Right? And that's really where that day one, that self-love, I want you to continue to do those affirmations, even if it feels silly. That's where that comes in. You are good enough. So let me just recap right here what I'm asking you to do today. There's no one to change but self. So this is a self-identity thing, right? All of manifesting is. Particularly romantic relationships. Well, actually, all of it is. I shouldn't even say there's a particular. All of manifesting is who you're being, your identity. There's no one to change but self. So you're gonna identify what identity. I probably should have chosen a different word. You should identify what identity you're holding that potentially is holding you back from a romantic relationship, and then you're just gonna shift in to a new identity by whatever means you want. Affirmations is a good way, visualization. You're going to develop the belief, the identity that you are a lovely, wonderful partner to be in a romantic relationship. And then if there's inspired action, go back to the June Allison story, that you want to take, you want to join a bowling league. And that could be where your partner is. That doesn't mean that's what will happen. It just is an example of what could happen. So you're going to shift into that identity, and then you're going to take the inspired action about becoming that person. I mean, and it could not be that. It could be exactly what you're doing. Everything in your life could stay very similar to it is now, except you meet your person and you have a romantic relationship. It's a subtle shift in your identity from I am not good enough for a romantic relationship to I am good enough for a romantic relationship. So with that, that is day 6. You're going to work on your identity. You're going to become the person who is in your ideal romantic relationship. It doesn't matter if you have a partner or not. That is your assignment for today. And so we're going to keep going with this masterclass, and may you manifest exactly what you want.